With the recent drop of the Armored Core 6 gameplay trailer, we have a clearer idea of how Fromsoft will approach gameplay and story elements. It appears From are going back to their pre-Souls roots with another faithful entry in the AC universe. Having been almost a decade between entries, for many Souls fans, this is their first look at an Armored Core title. Fromsoft have made it clear in several interviews, this will be a true Armored Core title, faithful to the series, and will most likely lack many of the gameplay elements, like resting at bonfires and spending souls to level Souls fans have come to expect from the developer. With that being the case, many Souls fans are on the fence of whether Armored Core 6 will be worth their time and money. So I wanted to put together a quick list of reasons why you should be excited. Whether you're an old Raven returning to the battlefield, or you've never heard of FromSoft outside of Soulsborne and Elden Ring, this list is for you. The first item on this list is combat. One of the defining features of a Soulsborne title is its weighted combat. Movement is king, and that's been a FromSoft staple for decades. Combat requires strategy and commitment. Stamina, equipment load, roll speed, roll distance, and stamina regeneration are all crucial factors that are all tied together by weight. These mechanics work similarly in Armored Core with energy consumption, weight load maximums, and other mobility stats tied to equipment. Improper balancing of weight is basically a death sentence in Armored Core. Heavy weapons often trade fire rate and ammunition count for higher stagger and higher attack power, while light weapons often have higher fire rates in exchange for lower damage and sometimes higher magazine count. Which segues into my next reason. One of the best features of the Souls series and Armored Core is the immense amount of item and ability customization. Build variety has been expansive across Souls titles, and this is the bread and butter of Armored Core. If you enjoy experimenting with different weapons, magic, and abilities in Souls games, you'll find yourself at home in Armored Core, with a massive part list supporting many different approaches to combat and movement. Players are encouraged to explore their options and create builds that suit their playstyles, or custom tailor their build to overcome specific challenges. Striking a suitable balance between mobility, defense, and attack prowess that works for you is vital for player progression. The next item on the list is the no hand-holding approach to game design. In Souls and AC, the player is left with the choice on how to tackle problems, with little or no outside intervention. The results have led to creative problem solving in-game. Overcoming obstacles by way of your own ingenuity can be one of the greatest feelings of accomplishment when gaming, and From Software game design has always pushed players towards this. Often you even see people within the Soulsborne and Armored Core communities putting their heads together to create strategies and loadouts for some of the biggest obstacles in-game. And because difficulty is subjective, sometimes those strategies can be for some of the smaller obstacles also. While initially not entirely open world, players have always had options on what to tackle first in Soulsborne titles, and similarly in Armored Core, players are often given a handful of missions to choose from. And players could decide, after a mission briefing, whether or not they want to take this mission on. Of course, the open world aspect was fully realized in Elden Ring, where, with a few exceptions, the only barrier to what a player could do is whether or not they had the skill to do it. Next up is boss design. One of the greatest features of any From title are their massive boss fights. Within the Souls series, From Software have crafted some of the most infamous boss fights known to gaming. And as a completely biased Armored Core fan, I can easily admit that they've perfected the boss fight formula within Souls. Boss fights in Armored Core were pretty straightforward, usually boiling down to a DPS race. This did improve starting in Armored Core 4 and beyond, with more varied and unique boss encounters. But for the most part, the Souls series has enjoyed great boss design across the board. Looking at the recent gameplay footage, it appears Armored Core 6 will be caught up to speed with the rest of the Soulsborne series when it comes to boss design. The last thing I want to talk about on today's list is the amount of growth FromSoft have made between the last Armored Core title and now. It would be an understatement to say Fromsoft have made massive innovations in their gameplay design between Armored Core Verdict Day, the last Armored Core release, and Elden Ring, their latest release. One of the most exciting things about Armored Core 6 is how Fromsoft would use what they've learned in the last decade to improve the formula. Even the Steam description for Armored Core 6 highlights this by saying, quote, a new action game based on the concept of the Armored Core series that uses the knowledge gained from Software's recent action game development, and combining From Software's long-standing expertise in mech games with their signature action gameplay. That signature action gameplay has to be referring to the last 10 years of Soulsborne releases. And that's going to do it for my list. Be sure to let me know down in the comment section what features you're excited about or want to see in Armored Core 6. And if you're new to this series, are you planning to pick up Armored Core 6? Appreciate everyone watching to the end of this video, and I will have more videos coming up until the release of Armored Core 6.